Shank. Oops. Oh, that weren't far off either. Oh, shank central. Hi, I'm Rob Davies here at the Abbey Hotel Golf Spa. Now, if that dreaded shank scares you to death, then you need to watch this video. It's not really difficult to fix. Let's raise your game.
That's class. That's so much better. I'm not sure whether you have to bleep out.
Oh yeah, So first of all, what is a shank? A shank is when the ball is struck off the hosel portion of the club. It's most commonly associated with going straight off to the right. Sometimes it'll have a bit of loft, sometimes very little. You can also end up topping them pretty straight. It kind of just depends on which part of the hosel it's going to hit. If it hits this bit here with a bit of the club face, then generally shoots high with a bit of loft, a little bit more central on the hosel, just going to top along the ground because there's no loft on that part of the club. They can even go way left if you were to hit it off that bit of the hosel. So it's all about trying to get your strike away from this half of the golf club. And it scares golfers to death because you can have a series of them, particularly with shorter irons. The reason why you generally shank wedges more is that the shorter clubs, you're stood closer to the ball than a longer iron. But you can shank those too. So let's have a look at how we can fix it. Let's clear up a couple of things first about the actual shank itself. Because the ball often goes to the right, most golfers will think they are coming in with the club face wide open. But you can hit shanks with a club face that's dead square if it's further away from you. Also, people are told and think that the shank comes from an excessively out to in path, and yes, I would agree it can do. But you can also shank it from an excessively in to out path, and you can shank it from a pretty neutral path too. But what they all have in common is that the club is simply getting further away from you at impact than it is at address. You don't necessarily assume that you're also too close to the golf ball. That certainly won't help you, but I've seen people with good postures at address still shank it because the hand path isn't quite where it should be through impact. Let's give you a little drill to help you. Now we understand that at impact the club is further away from us. A very simple little exercise you can do is to set up to your golf ball as normal and take your normal backswing, but your objective is to try to brush the mat just inside the ball, effectively pulling the hands or the handle a bit closer to you than you would do normally at impact. Often when I ask people to do this the first time, they will actually strike the golf ball pretty much out the middle of the club. But it's a great way to change your hand path because that's what's causing the damage. The hands are going out away from you at impact, hitting that hosel. So try a couple of practice swings, actually swinging inside the ball. Just nice and gently if you like to start with. We want to see the ground contact ideally just after where the ball would be. And if you like, you can even add a second ball into the frame. Again, set up to the first ball as you would do normally and see if you can actually try and strike the ball closer to you. So I had to change my hand path to do that and still hit that nicely out the middle of the club. Try that a few times and then I want you to try and hit your golf ball as normal, but perhaps feel like you're going to strike the ball a little bit towards the toe of the club, so you're only going to move your hand path in half an inch or so. Because a slight toe strike actually doesn't do you too much harm. Certainly not as much as hitting it off the hosel. And again, do that several times just to give you a feeling of keeping the hands a little closer to you through the bottom of the swing. As an added extra, you could simply pop a head cover just past the ball, and your objective is to hit the golf ball but miss the head cover. Any sign of clipping the head cover, and you know that, again, your hands are creeping out away from you through the bottom of the swing. Very simple little exercise that can again help with your hand path. A couple of very simple but effective drills there that can certainly help cure your shanks. If it doesn't, then there's obviously root causes to your ineffective hand path in your golf swing. So nothing beats going to see your pro to iron those out. Things like getting the club very steep in transition is often a common cause. Early extension, where we're thrusting the body this way through impact, is also a common cause of that hand path moving out. So definitely book in to see your pro if those little drills don't help you out on the course. If they did help, please thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and follow us on the usual social channels too. Thanks very much for watching, and look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers. 107 again, pal.
What have you done? Actually, you might want to let me lift the camera up a bit because I've got like your groin in the shot.
Yeah,